Hello, this is Shadow of the Moon, and today I'm going to be doing an updated deck profile of my Simorgh deck for November 2021. This deck did get some support in the release of Dawn of Majesty, a new spirit monster, so I was able to add that to the deck. And this is just a very, very fun deck overall to be able to play with, because since they are spirit monsters, they return back to the hand at the end phase of the turn. And what makes these guys extra special, and that I really, really love about them, is not only that they're winged beasts and it's a wind deck, it's also will allow you, it puts tokens on the board when they're sent back to the hand, so that it will allow you to go into your extra deck or be able to go into your plays of more of your ritual monsters, since the main focus of the deck is to be able to bring these guys out. You can also banish cards from the graveyard that total level stars equal the number of what you would need for the ritual monster. And also for the extra deck, you're going to see some stuff in here that is just personal preference and just what I chose. Please don't downvote the video based off of that. You can put whatever you want in this extra deck, because the extra deck doesn't really matter as much. The true strength of this deck relies in the actual main deck and the actual ritual monsters themselves. However, most of the stuff that you would want to put in here is mainly only going to be level 4s, and also only going to be the link monsters that kind of coincide and work well with it. Alright, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So first we've got 3 copies of your Sinnoh Baron Peacock. This guy is one of the main monsters in the deck, next to Sinnoh Baroness Peacock, and he will allow you to send 3 monsters on your opponent's side of the field, up to 3 monsters on the opponent's side of the field, back to the hand. And also, when he is sent back to the hand at the end phase of the turn, you will get tokens. And like I said before, that can be used to fuel your other ritual monsters, next turn, or to be able to go into your extra deck. Alright, and then we've got 3 copies of Sinnoh Baroness Peacock. This is the same as Sinnoh Baron. Its attack and defense is just switched, and she sends up to 3 spell and traps from your opponent's field to the hand. And then we've got 1 copy of Hinokagasuchi. This works really well with the deck because it is a level 8, and when he inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, they have to discard all cards in their hand during the next draw phase before they draw. So right before they draw, they have to discard everything. And that just completely messes up your opponent. It's somewhat difficult to bring this out because he is a tribute monster, and he will return to the hand at the end phase of the turn. But that effect is really, really good if you can pull it off. And also, since he's a level 8, he can be used as a sacrifice and tribute for your ritual monsters, for your Sinnoh Baron and Sinnoh Baroness. Alright, then we have 1 copy of Yamada Dragon. When he inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, you get to draw up to 5 cards from your deck, and draw cards from your deck until you have 5 cards, meaning that will help you replenish your hand and be able to go into more of your plays, which is very, very important in this deck, since none of the monsters will stay on the field pretty much except for what's in your extra deck. And then we have 2 copies of Amano Iwado. Monsters cannot activate their effects except spirit monsters. Now keep that in mind. He shuts down most decks because of the ability to, no monsters except for spirit monsters can activate their effects, which is absolute insanity to be able to just shut everything off. And the fact that it's a common is just hilarious. Alright. And then 2 copies of Hebo, Lord of the River. He will turn everything on your opponent's side of the field into spirit monsters, meaning they will go back to the hand at the end phase of the turn. That's why I run 2 in here. You can drop to 1 if you want, but I like having 2 because he does work really, really well, and he does help a lot in this deck. Alright, and then we have 3 copies of Nikitama. Nikitama is when it's special summoned during the end phase of the turn, this card was normal summoned or flip face up returned to the hand, obviously, because every card in this deck is going to be returned to the hand at the end phase of the turn. When he is normal summoned, you can normal summon another monster in addition to your normal summoner set. So he's going to really help you go into more of your plays, because he will be able to drop another monster on the field just for you. And when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card. You have to control a spirit monster, sadly, to be able to activate that effect. But the option of being able to draw a card, which really, really will help, because you can go into you can actually keep drawing into your plays and everything, and this will allow you to normal summon or set, which is very important because you want to be able to swarm the field as much as you can with your spirit monsters. Spirit monsters aren't exactly, they're not going to be consistent like that. They're not going to be able to be able to summon 4 of them at once, but the idea is to get as many as you can on the field to be able to go into your extra deck, or to be able to use those as tributes and sacrifices for your Shino Baron and Baroness. Alright, and then we have 3 copies of Aratama. When this card is normal summoned, you flip face up, you can add a spirit monster from your deck to your hand. This is going to help you go into your deck for your spirit monsters. And then the 2 cards that were just released out in Dawn of Majesty. Kono Hana Sakuya. I know that's very, very hard to say, so if I did butcher it, I do apologize. You can only special summon once per turn this way, obviously. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned, return it to the hand. Once per turn during the end phase, if you can banish this card from your graveyard, banish it, then target one spirit monster you control. Neither player can activate that face-up monster's effects on the field for the rest of the turn. Now keep that in mind. Neither player can activate that face-up monster's effects on the field to the end of the turn. So the idea is to be able to negate what they have, and they cannot activate the effects. Just kind of like Iwana Yamato. This is a very, very good card in this deck. I'm glad that we actually did get more support. I just kind of wish that we had an extra deck that had spirit monsters in there and everything that you could actually use, but this is the best that you got. This is a great, great card in here because of the ability, since you can special summon her also if you have a spirit monster, and it's just, she's very, very good in the deck. Alright, so now we are running 3 of each of the kaijus. You can add a 4th one if you want. The kaijus, this is really what's going to help you with your plays, because this is going to help get rid of your run over your opponent's Dragoon. This is just like a super poly. This is going to run over the Nibiru, and it's really going to be able to help you. Also, because you want to be able to make sure that they don't get to keep their monsters on the field. And since you're relying on your spirit monsters, you want them to stay on the field. And you want to be able to get field control as quick as possible. Alright, and then you can have Manju of the 10,000 Hands if you want. I'm going to be just running Sonic Bird. Once again, that's just personal preference. This will allow you to add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand to be able to go into your plays. Alright, so that's going to be it for the monsters, guys. Let's move on to the spells and traps. So first off, obviously, Shinobird's Calling. The great thing about this card, and one of the reasons why I love it so much, is that you can banish spirit monsters from your hand, field, or graveyard, whose total level equals the monsters that you're using for the ritual summon, which is just great because you put them in the graveyard, and then, or you can discard them or whatever, and then you can banish them. It doesn't have to be from the field or the hand. It also adds to the graveyard. So this is going to be the main ritual spell to be able to go into your ritual monsters. And then we've got 3 copies of Shinobird Power Spot. Another very, very good card. Continuous. All spirit monsters will gain 500 attack and defense, which is a great boost for it. If a face-up one monster you control returns to the hand, except during damage step, you can add a spirit monster or ritual spell card from your deck to your hand, which will really help you in your plays and to be able to add them to your hand. Because the main focus of the deck is to get them in your hand and get them on the field as quickly as possible, and just make sure that your opponent cannot do anything at all. Okay, and then we've got 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites. This is going to add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand and add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Alright, and then 3 copies of, finally, because I know the last time I had this, I had to proxy the 2 of them. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. This is going to put your Kaiju monsters from your deck onto the field, which is what you want. This is what's going to help you out. So the idea is you can give your opponent a Gamma Cell, and you can take one of the other 2 monsters, or you can give them one of the other 2 monsters. You can take the one Fiery Kaiju that is 2800 attack, and that's how you're going to be able to run over to your opponent. And then you've got 2 Urgent Ritual Arts. This is going to be the last thing in the deck, 2 of the trap cards. If you control no ritual monsters, you can banish a ritual spell from your hand or graveyard. This card's effect becomes that card's effect that ritual summons a monster when it is activated. So this is going to help you get into your Shinobird's Calling. If you do not have it and you've used it already, this is going to act as a Shinobird's Calling. Alright, so that's going to be it for the main deck, guys. Let's move on to the extra deck. So like I said before, this is just personal preference. You can put whatever you want in here. You can put your IP Masquerade, you can put your Fibrax, you can put whatever you want in there. Just for budget-wise and this personal preference, this is what I'm going to have in mind. So first, you've got 2 copies of Great Fly. This is going to boost your wind monsters up. You have to have 2 wind monsters to be able to link it. 1 copy of Gaia Saber. This is just your generic. 1 copy of Lano. This is going to be your generic 2 to be able to go into your Borload Dragon or your Topabolic Bomber Dragon. Then you've got your Nightmare Unicorn and Nightmare Phoenix to spin stuff and pop spell and traps. Then you've got your Topabolic Bomber Dragon. Once again, this can be used if you want a Borload Dragon. You can totally use that. That is up to you. That is another real easy way to be able to get that, is if you can use the Link Monsters to go into that one and co-link for it. And then that's it for the Link Monsters. Let's move on to the Exede Monsters. So you've got 1 Tornado Dragon. You've got 1 Lightning Chidori. 2 Castel, the Sky Blasting Musketeer, one of the best cards in the extra deck, in my opinion. Malevolent Sin. Silent Honor Arc. Abyss Dweller. And lastly, your Steel Swarm Roach. Alright, so that's going to be it for this deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. This is just personal preference, what I will choose to put in my extra deck. So, please, like I said, don't downvote that based off of that. The deck is a lot of fun because of how fast it is, how fast it can be, and it's just really, really cool to be able to see Spirit Monsters actually be able to have some more support, because Spirit Monsters are as old as time itself. It's been out since the original series. It's been out since 2003, so it's nice to actually be able to have a Spirit deck, and what better way to also be able to have like a Winged Beast or Wind Spirit deck, because I love it. They're traditional, they look traditional Japanese monsters, and they're just really, really cool. I love everything about the deck. Alright, so that's going to be it for this deck profile, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun, like I said, to do, and I'm glad I was able to update it. I'm glad that, especially that she came out, Konohana Sukoya, because she really helps the deck speed it up quite a bit with that effect, and this is just a lot of fun. Alright, so with that, I'll see you guys next time.